All right. So, disclaimer. If you love eating your leftovers, you love meal prepping at the start of the week, stop watching this video because you ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. Essentially, as I've harped on about for a while now, all food has a certain type of energy to it. You have foods that have negative life energy or a negative energy. Some examples of this are alcohol, your nervous stimulants such as coffee and tea, most fast and deep fried foods, chips, ice cream, carbonated beverages, garlic and onion, actually. These are all foods with a negative, that contain negative prana, negative life energy. Then you have, by consuming such foods, you really, oh, I mean, it's negative. It's negative energy. It's a negative life energy that you're putting within your body. So if you want to move to any type of it's just not that good for you. You can have it by all means, but if you want to do anything really profound with your energies, then it's not the food for you. Then you have foods with neutral life energies. Now these foods, all they really do is just leave a little bit of lethargy within you after you eat them. Foods such as potatoes and tomatoes. And with these two groups, your negative and your neutral, you can really notice that when you eat them, without even explaining what they do to you, you just know. You just know. You eat a box of KFC and you just feel like fucking shit. You smash some chocolate, you just feel like shit. You eat a whole bag of fries, or not even a whole bag, but a few fries, you just feel heavy, you feel lethargic, you don't have that much energy, you sort of just want to do fuck all. So that's what you sort of get from your negative and your neutral life energy foods. And then you've got the positive life energies. So all your fruits, your nuts, your veggies, all that really good stuff, actual milk, not that shit you get from Coles, a few grains, legumes, a lot of the healthy, raw, natural whole foods, they're all buzzing with life energy, positive life energy. You eat that type of food and there's just a certain vibrance in the system. You sleep less, you have more energy, you're sharper, you're just really in alignment with yourself, and it's a fantastic way to live. But there's a caveat to all this. See, if you cook food, it doesn't matter if it's delicious, organic, biodynamic vegetables. Once you cook it, there's a certain expiry date on that food until it also starts possessing a negative prana, negative life energy about it. And in the yogic culture, they say that once you cook foods, after 90 minutes, it's sort of switched over. It's as you cook it, it starts to degrade. And after 90 minutes, you can be quite certain that it switched over to negative prana. So what's that mean? Oh, one other thing. So, as I said, once you've cooked it, it slowly starts to degrade. I mean, if you eat it at 90 minutes, if you eat it at 5 hours, 10 hours, it's still relatively okay. It's getting to the wayside, and if you're very sensitive with your body and how everything interacts with your system, you'll start to notice it. But especially after a day, 2 days, it just takes on a whole different effect within your system. And it's quite a pain in the ass because it makes preparing your lunches and just eating in general, especially lunches, quite challenging because you don't have the luxury of just making extra dinner and taking your leftovers. You've got to takes a little bit more effort, a little bit more thought to sort of get that fresh or freshly cooked food into your diet. So I haven't eaten leftovers for a while now. And the reason I'm making this video is because I had some leftovers actually yesterday. And mind you, they were bloody delicious. Mum cooked up some delicious, wholemeal banana blueberry muffins, full of nutritious and healthy ingredients. And they were tasty. But I just noticed, mind you, Friday cheat day, I polished off like 5 of the bastards, two big ones and then 3 little ones. So it wasn't as much as 5 sounds. It was still a moderate amount. I fucking polished them off and I loved them. But I just noticed for the rest of the day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours after, I could just feel them in my system. They just took on a whole different dimension within my body purely because of the fact they were cooked a day prior. And, what was once, healthy, nutritious, buzzing with good life energy food, it started to turn to something a little less friendly to this system. So yeah, and what I'm talking about here, if you live in a certain state where you are consuming, because firstly, if you're consuming nervous stimulants, coffee, tea, caffeine, tobacco, alcohol, depressants, whatever, on a regular basis, a lot of this stuff that I talk about will be out of your experience because when you regularly taking a nervous stimulant, it really dulls your sensitivity to life, and those more sensitive, subtler dimensions of life are beyond your perception, just because the instruments through which we perceive our 5 senses are weakened in a way and dulled is probably a better word. They're dulled in a way that so you can't perceive as much as say someone that lives a very clean life. I mean, you look at animals and they just intuitively know what to eat, what not to eat. On a certain day, they'll eat this. On another day, they'll eat this. And they just instinctively, intuitively know this because although they might not be as cognitively and consciously switched on as us, there's a level of dimension of perception within them that's quite sharp. You see birds and other animals can sense natural disasters and they flee because there's this level of perception within them that hasn't been tainted and fucked up by the modern human lifestyle, that can sense the subtler dimensions of life. Like you probably notice this when you can sort of smell, especially in the tropics, just a few minutes before when a thunderstorm's about to come on, you can really smell that. It's in the air. So yes, this what I'm talking about. Food, cooked food, going from positive to negative life energies. It's a subtle change, and if you live in a certain way, you're not gonna be perceptive of it. But if you live with if you just spend a little bit of time to get this clean and live in such a way, these things, you'll start to know what I'm talking about. You'll go, he wasn't such a crackpot after all. Thank you.